every once in a while something enters the studio and I don't make a video right away. And that is the case with this. This is my Galen leather Expansi-Folio. You've seen it in videos, you've seen it on Instagram. I have not been shy about posting that I have it because I really like it. But it wasn't a small investment, and for whatever reason, I always find that pen cases feel like more of an investment than adding a pen to my collection. And I genuinely really wanted to test it out and do a deep dive of using it for a couple weeks before I talked about it in a video format. So I've now had this for almost 8 weeks. We're going to talk about it because I have pretty much put away every other pen case I have. And that is quite the statement. So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So I knew I wanted it from when they released the PR images of this before it was released. I've wanted a Galen leather folio now for almost 18 months. My issue with it was what a lot of my friends and fellow reviewers were saying, which was if you put pens in the original version and a notebook, it got very squishy. So I was holding out hope that someday they were going to release a larger version, and they did, and I was very happy. I also went back and forth on color. I really like the Crazy Horse smoke. The issue with it is it's very batch dependent. So sometimes you will have Crazy Horse smoke that is very, very green undertoned. I've seen it pink undertoned. So it's something you need to see in person. And I knew the likelihood of seeing it in person before I bought it was low. So I decided that I was probably going to end up playing it safe and going with the Crazy Horse navy blue. They ended up not releasing it in smoke, which made my decision easy. And so I got this in the Crazy Horse navy blue. As you can see, it's already got some wear and tear. I have not been particularly gentle with this. I have been treating it like I do any of my other pen cases, which means it gets thrown in a purse, it gets thrown in a backpack, it gets used, and it's a workhorse. I'm not going to baby my pen cases because they are there to protect my pens and hold things. They are not there to stay pretty. So, straight off the bat, I don't baby my pen cases. But let's open this up and we'll talk about what's inside. Inside, it's very full. It's very busy. So we're going to start over here and work our way this way. To start with, we have 4 pens on one of the same cards that comes in the slip and zip. And I actually really like this because it gives you the option of not having pens in here. If, you want to slide something in, like a pamphlet or something, you can take out your pens. I really like that. I have 4 pens. I would say these pens are about as big as I'd want to go in this case, just for my own personal uses. Mostly because they take up the full length of the card. And as much as you can fit pens that are bigger in it, I don't really want to. So I have 4 pens in here, and I have some Esterbrook blotting paper tucked behind in this little pocket. I have just been using this pocket for blotting paper. It could theoretically fit pieces of paper and stuff. I've had loose sheets of paper. I've been sticking them back here. This, though, having blotting paper in here is great, and I've been very happy with it. And then we have several business card slots. I am currently only using 2. I think with pen shows and stuff, I'll probably end up using more than 2. I always end up with business cards at pen shows. Currently, though, I have mine in the top one, and then I have the Dominant Industries Measure My Pen in here because I keep losing it in the studio. And so it's found its home in this case purely so that I know where it is. It's not really useful in this case, but if it lives in this case, it has a permanent home. And so that is what I've done. And then we come here. So in Galen Leather's PR images, they have a pocket knife here, or they have a phone cable, or a set of headphones. And I thought about that. I thought about putting my mini Beats there, and then I decided against it. I had one of these Galen Leather Kaweco pocket cases in the studio already. and decided to see if it fit, and it does. And so it has now become home for my 2 Tom Studio pens. So they currently live up here. So this little case doesn't come with it. Honestly though, I think it cost me about $15, and if you're already buying this case, an extra $10-15 to buy something to hold your pocket pens isn't that much of an additional expense. And for me, it's actually made a big difference because I think these pen loops need to be smaller. In the PR images, they show full-size pens there. I've tried having full-size pens there, and I find that this loop becomes practically unusable. And so I use pocket pens down in these slots. The issue is, unless your pocket pen is as chunky as the Benu Pixie, they are sort of too big, and your pocket pens sort of go wandering in your pen case. So I'm living with that, and it's fine. It doesn't really bug me. I'm okay with, you know, a pen banging into these and getting micro scratches. Doesn't really bug me. I don't actually care all that much, and nothing in this case is uber expensive. That being said, I would love to see these loops ever so slightly smaller so that they held pocket pens better. Then we have my Galen leather ruler. They talk about being able to put an iPad mini or other things back here. I think it would be very tight, especially because this is sewn all the way down to the cover. So instead, I've been using it for storage of loose papers and as a home for my Galen leather combination tool. I got this sent to me from Galen leather last August. Didn't think I was going to love it. Absolutely adored it. And it has become one of my favorite things in the studio, and one of my favorite rulers because like the numbers aren't going anywhere. And it's got a nice weight on the paper so that it doesn't move around. So it has been living in this pocket so that I always know where it is. And you will notice, if you've been around here a while, both the blotting paper and the brass combination tool used to live in my slip and zip. I have pretty much not used my slip and zip since I got this. The one time I have used my slip and zip was at the Chicago Pen Show as my problem child pen case that was going to Nibsmiths and Repair People. Other than that, this has been my case since I got it. And I don't know that that will change anytime soon. I like that this holds everything. I will also say I haven't really used my traveler's journal since I got this because I've got my paper, I've got my pens, I've got everything I need all together. And it's just really working for me right now. We get to this fabulous little hook. I really like that this is detachable. I think most people would have keys and stuff on it. And I have put an Esterbrook nib cloth, which is one of my favorite sort of Esterbrook accessories. I love their blotting paper, but this thing, I've got 2 of them. One's attached to my Delphonics pouch. One lives in here. Both are essentials and lovely, and I utterly adore them. And then we have a set of loop switches. These are also essential in my life. I have many pairs of loops, but these live in this case so that if I'm ever in a situation that's too loud, I always know where they are. And I just tuck these over here when I close it up so that everything stays all the way. Paper. Paper is actually the biggest struggle with this case. And one of the reasons that I almost didn't buy it, because I knew I wanted a top fold pad, but I don't really like Tomoe River paper. And while I do like Rhodia paper, I was desperately hoping I could find MD paper. And I did end up finding MD paper pads on Amazon. I couldn't find them from a local retailer. And they are glued on the top and on one side. I then ended up finding a second MD pad at the Chicago Pen Show from Pen Realm. And so I will probably be ordering more from them because they were significantly cheaper than Amazon. But I will say, if you're looking at one of these cases, figure out if the paper or papers you like are available in them first. They do fit top fold and side bound notebooks, but there's nothing worse than getting a pen case or a notebook and discovering that the paper you really like is not available in that notebook system. And that was actually the biggest issue for me, was actually finding paper that I liked that fit in here. They have recently announced an A4 version. I was actually hoping it would be legal, pad sized. It's not going to be, it's an A4. So I will probably just get things cut down from legal to A4. But I am excited to see a bigger version of this because I do genuinely really like it. I was always fairly sure I was going to like it. I liked Friend's smaller versions, but I knew that for me, I was going to need an expanded version. And I've been quite happy with it. Also, this zipper can flip down so that if you're writing, it's not digging into your wrist. I haven't had issues with it digging into my wrist, but I think that probably as this pad wears down, most likely will. So it is nice that they've given it enough clearance that you theoretically can flip it over. So, nitty-gritty details, because people are going to ask, how much does this actually retail for? It retails for $204 Canadian, making it the most expensive pen case I own. I will also say I did not pay that much for it. I used a mixture of cash and affiliate credit to buy mine. So thank you if you use my affiliate links. They let me purchase things like this and pens and inks and paper for the channel. It is available a couple places in the US. Atlas has them. I think a couple other places have them, but you can also order them directly from Galen Leather. It is 7.3 inches by 9.2 inches and 1.77 inches wide. I think it's actually a fairly good size. It fits in my day-to-day purse with about this much sticking out of the top, which I'm perfectly fine with because one, I'm carrying it in my day-to-day purse. It's most likely because I'm in the car and I don't need it to fit in my bag perfectly. I haven't actually had any situations where I don't like it. It's also one of those pieces that when you pull out, like, sort of makes a statement. Like, everything is there. You can very much customize it to be your perfect setup. And for me, that is a number of pens, some fine liners, a ruler, business cards, a pen wipe. Like, I have everything I need in this case. I really like that. I think it's something that I was missing in my pen setup, was a case where like everything fit all at the same time. And it has been lovely. So let me know down below if you have any questions and I will do my best to answer them. But as always, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.